Okay, I started really trying to roll through this idea because there was this article about self-identification of being liberal or conservative, and that really overall, from the 1990s until now, both men and women tended to self-identify as liberal, with men just simply kind of staying almost in the just general center to moderate. And this made me think of really large swaths of American men are what would be called center moderate, and sort of the concept of like the real like liberal tradition really existing there, that these very moderate people that are more than willing to evaluate ideas and debate them. And so I started really thinking about that, like what happened with the division of men on the left and men who now are kind of more and more having to identify on the right was principled debate. The left has this tendency of, at first it became sort of like this fun tricks to play until somebody like really was like, well, no, I mean, and they would try to nail somebody on, do you actually think then, because if the principle of this, of whatever they're debating, they take it to its sort of horrible logic, where it's like, this is logically where it could end up, what would be then the moral choice? So suddenly what were kind of fun and games on a lot of platforms, like there was DLive for a while, there's some other one I'm just not remembering, but a lot of this happened on YouTube when there was a functionality that you could have hangouts and streams all working very well together. And so there was this kind of wonderful world of all these people with colliding ideas, and then a lot of guys who they wanted to have their idea heard, just some thought heard, or they just wanted to mess around. They just wanted to get involved and fuck around. There was a lot of people like that. And then there began a whole sort of world of men, mostly males, but a lot of women too, who then commented on all of this, on these weird kind of pseudo-intellectual debaters of the millennial age, and it was fun. Like, I mean, this was like the Geraldo Rivera show where everyone started throwing chairs, except they aren't in the same room, so they're just throwing chairs around in their own room, and which makes it even funnier. So this was definitely where the boys were at, and of course then the sexual minorities and the women had to ruin it. Even black guys were getting involved widely, like coming in, and some of these guys would be like the Africans that grew up here, and that they're old-fashioned, and that they don't conceive of a lot of liberal politics that they've been around since they were kids. These were all millennials, remind you. They don't really conceive of, they're like, no, that's just not and their thing was culture. And of course, it was correct. That was absolutely correct. That was something that actually, in fact, a lot of the Gen Xers were really starting to have. They weren't picking up on it yet, and a lot of people still haven't. All Marxism must crush all culture, no matter how it manifests. Socialists must crush culture for it to work, because in some way there's already some method by which people naturally organize that's a part of the culture, and that they deal with charity and other issues in the society. The socialists have to always ruin this, because you see, then they can't be rapacious locusts and get stuff from people who don't want to give it to them, because in some way, shape, or form they repel other members of the society, and that the cultural group wouldn't let them in. and would be like, no, we know about you. We're not giving you shit. And so that's Marxism solves this for a lot of these people, that they're just rejects from society that are like, no, give me, and they don't have a good charitable reason. They're just psychopathic, rapacious locusts. And so this is the whole thing of so many men then dealing with in the world in the manosphere. Why did my mom leave my dad? Like, now that I, know him better, now that I'm more grown and I've got a better sense of how she thinks, how he thinks, or, blah, 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 so people started really evaluating stuff, and then these men started to share it online. This is a very important thing if you're a woman looking for a good man. What started to happen was this thing of, it's about the principle, as my teacher said, it's about the principles, not the personalities. That at a certain point it became, there's a lot of guys with a lot of personality, but do they have principles? The people who have a lot of personality online, but no damn principles, they're lol cows and people who everybody likes cheering when they fall down and have dirt in their mouth. But the people who have real principles have gone on to tremendous success. People who are able to swallow their pride. Like one in particular was Sargon of Akkad, where at a certain stage he didn't have the knowledge base to contend certain people in various debates. But then he got that knowledge base. He did the hard work, and he did the reps and sets, fundamentally. And he was able to, now he has not just a really great multimedia thing going on, but he also has some link to some publishing firm that publishes rare works. It's fantastic, where he's gone. And there's a bunch of people like this, that they've gone above and beyond, fundamentally, because they did it on principle. And so that aspect of it, when I think about this, is a lot of this, good man, this good, is he high value? My whole thing is, he high functioning? Can he solve problems? Like, when there's problems, like, can you tell his brain is working on it? Or that at some point, you don't know he's working on it. His brain works so well that he literally just sort of suddenly starts doing something to solve a problem. Or even before it comes up, he's already working. And I mean a problem, not you have mental anxiety because of the relationship of estrogen to cortisol, and that women are always a little miserable. No. It's, does he solve like a problem with the family vehicle? Does he organize things in the house so that they're well organized and they're well organized and stuff, and that you could find things easier. He could find his man things easier, his toys. Does he keep them, in out of the way of everything and in its little space? All these little things that it's like, did he buy a pair of boots before he needed another pair of boots for work? So that he had another pair of work boots ahead of time, so that when one pair was definitely about to give out, so he already, he doesn't have to, honey, my feet, my boots, so, did he buy tires ahead of time when they were cheaper? Things like that, or buy them when they were cheap. All of these little things, these high functioning, he solves problems. That is much more important than a lot of other stuff. And then beyond that, he's high functioning. Does he have principles? He is in a good relationship with his mother because even though he doesn't always agree with what his mother says, this and that, it's his mom. You know, like that's a principle of his. Because then he's going to be there when your family probably has issues, that he'll be somebody who tries to be helpful in getting you through that. Because it's a part of the principle of the issue. Like, your personalities don't always work out, but at least be at peace with one another. You know, that kind of thing. Like, we have to put on a good face for the kids, because they only will have one, caught you fuckers. They'll only have one, youth, you know. See, there we go. Look, faithful America. There we go. See, just like I was saying, a lot of these motherfuckers around here. A lot of these churches around here, dude. Funny motherfuckers, dude. Funny style-ass motherfuckers. Oregon and its liberal fucking bullshit Christians. I mean, they really are. Like, when you actually, like, get into conversations with it, it's they're bullshitters. They're getting handed money to hand out to other people. It's just instead of Yui Maru, like the circle of friendship of Okinawa, it's the circle of locusts. It's just like some kind of demonic egregore, not egregore, a grimoire, image from a grimoire. But so, if you want to find decent fellows, you're going to have to deal with men who are high functioning. So they're very rational. They're simply not going to deal with your emotional states. They won't, because there's nothing they can deal with. You are going to just have to feel the misery of being a woman. And that's just how it is. There's nothing, we know this is the case. There isn't a debate about this. This is a known thing from the physiology aspect, that no, you have a chemical soup in your blood that makes you feel misery. And yeah. So, and that's it. It's just, we try to cheer you up, but that's how you're wired. You feel miserable. So, you're going to have to just deal with, now and then, you want to fight with this cat, and he's right. And you should admit, I just want to fight with you. Because then at least he can make it fun. At least then he can respect, like, you know, being wrong makes you fucking miserable. And even more miserable. And you're wrong a lot. Because you're wired that way. And so you're going to go with, I think things, I feel things, I have feelings about the thinkings, and the thinkings, I was thinking about my feelings on this. And it's like, no, you either have knowledge about, you know, who are the homeless and how worthless is it to pour money into this, or you don't. You know, either you have knowledge about why are the feminists always wrong about crimes against women, because they don't want to deal with what's known about such types of criminals and the way that their brain is wired, because somewhere that guy has a mom. That means she has defective genes, or she made a bad choice with a bad mate. And it's her fault at some stage. And you see, because with any bad line of plants or bad line of cattle, you always go backwards toward the mother of the line, and that disturbs women at a fundamental environmental evolutionary psychological level. That they know, oh, the reason why I'm cantankerous, loudmouth, got big ass tits, and you know, and nobody likes me, and I have no morals, is not that I learned this from 90s rock and roll. It's that I'm just poorly bred. Just plain out, I'm bred to be, you know, a tavernist, you know. Deal with it. I suggest dealing with it. feel the emotions of facing that, pretty girls have a better life. It's just that by the beautiful part, really, and this is really kind of the wonderful part about it, by the time you get old, well, it doesn't matter how much you envy some other bitch. You're all in the same tank now, you're all old women. So it's, you just get over it. You just get over it. and that's also kind of the beauty of how time goes on. You just get over a lot of things. Or you're gonna feel fucking misery. So you just get over a lot of stuff. And if you want happiness, ladies, if you really want happiness, there's a lot of shit you're gonna have to get over, such as being fucking wrong so often. Being so fucking wrong so often. And because if we left it up to you, only women voted, it would be the Democratic Party, and look what it would be. Crime, men pooping everywhere, people wearing fucking ninja masks, poorly behaved dogs everywhere, poorly behaved children that can't do anything, poorly bred people, nothing but like women who are so heavy they'll never, ever, ever know what it's like to be physically attractive to the opposite sex. Can you imagine that? To be heavy for so long into your life, you cannot possibly have ever been legitimately good looking to the opposite sex for the entire fertile part of your life. And that after the fertile part of your life, that your body just can't even handle like the weight that you've put on in the fertile part of your life. So it's only going to get even worse. And you're going to feel even more like acute pain from having all that weight on you. And men keep trying to we were trying to be for a long time like more and more sort of cool and subtle and you might, have you ever thought about, and then it's like, okay, we know you guys think this, but it's not really how it is, and finally now it's just kind of like us just being like, oh, fuck this shit, and like throwing the whole thing off, shrugging it off, oh, fuck it, we don't care, and now, and then there's that I could tell you, so the complexity of games now and how much your mind has to work for some of these, the ones that really attract smart people, the complexity of this gameplay is pretty up there. It's pretty high level stuff. Like the game I play, EVE Online, this is serious dedication of human time. People have done calculations of the human time it takes, plus what translates to in-game money and in-game worth of assets to real money and all this stuff. And they're like, holy crap, the amount of money that gets destroyed in these wars. So the thing that I was thinking about one time is the complexity that men are the things, the steps that you have to go through just to do pretty simple things. And even online, Tech 2 can ship hulls, just Tech 2 ship hulls. That alone, that's not that difficult. Planetary industry, not that difficult, but it does take a dedication of a number of hours to actually learn about it and employ it and then keep up on it all the time, get more efficient at it. All of that mental energy is not going to girls. Roll that over in your mind. People think about, okay, these guys engage in this game with all of these steps they have to go to war. This is so much effort, so much money poured into this in human time that, and I don't even know if they calculate human time like by hourly wage or anything like that. that so much goes into this gameplay, that's so much worth of money, you would be going on vacations like once a year with this dedication. He would never miss any holiday or birthday. I can't even think of like the amount of attention I know guys who are into gaming, like the amount of mental attention, the amount of time they focus, that the only thing you got, time. And if you wanted that kind of dedication, you got to make it worth more than he's getting out of playing a video game. It's the principle of the thing, to win, to get better, magnanimity, to improve, and then good people who are good, men who are good at things. This is actually a rule of success. One of the rules of success from one of these various books I had read. You will find men who are exceptionally successful at anything tend to want to tell other people how they did it, just because they like it. And they like what they did. They like the thing they did. That's why they engaged in it. And so when other people do it, they really like telling them how. Like, oh, here's what I suggest. And it's actually really great when you're able to connect to somebody. So that's why, like, all these gaming platforms with their chat, the Discord, this is now the men's club. And it would not have happened if people hadn't forced that to be. Didn't even have to be like this, but society forced it to be like this. So now it's not the Masonic Lodge, now it's not the Oddfellows, now it's Discord. It was where you could find these guys citing about debates, and about the morals and ethics of something or other. And now it really is this issue of, where do you find a principled man who will dedicate his time to you because you're worth it? And I just have to tell you, I don't know how you are anymore. I really don't. But a lot of it is going to consist of understanding it. Either you have knowledge about something or you don't, and it's a bunch of feelings and thinkings. And it's nice you have that, but you got to admit when he's right, because that's a big deal now. That is a big, big deal. All right, later.